Alright, my fellow agents, welcome back to the Gaming Brigade. And the start of Year 8 Season 1, which was yesterday, brought with it a new gear set into the game. It's called Core Strength, and in my opinion, it's one of the best ones we've seen in a very long time. Now, with that being said, anytime a new season begins, I receive messages here at the channel asking what is the best way to farm for this new gear set or brand set, whatever you're looking for. Thankfully, the answer is simple, just play Countdown, and I say that because it is still the most efficient way to farm a ton of loot in a very short amount of time. Remember, you have the option of choosing your loot type that you actually want to farm for, which means usually within, let's say, 2 or 3 runs of Countdown, you're going to have most of the pieces you need to put a build together. Now, we also have Retaliation. That's another great way to farm if you do not want to roll in a group. So if that's all you need to hear, feel free to click off this video right now. Thank you for stopping by. But for everyone else, we are going to go over a few other farming details really quick, and we are going to start with how to select your targeted loot, and you do have 2 options. First of all, you can open up your map, scroll over to Countdown. Once you hover over the icon, you'll see a prompt at the very bottom of the page that says Select Targeted Loot. You're going to choose the loot you're looking for, and you also have the option of choosing your targeted loot once you load into Countdown, but in my opinion, just get it done beforehand. That way you can jump into the game mode and you're totally good to go. Now, another great way to farm for players who do not want to run in a group is you can also do Retaliation. You can choose your targeted loot as well. But to be very clear, as far as quantity is concerned, there is no better way to farm in this game than playing Countdown. And I say that because I know a lot of players out there don't like rolling in a group. Get out of your comfort zone, my friends. It's pretty damn easy to do. I'll walk you through a few things really quick. And as always, if you have any other questions, please let me know. Now, as far as your build is concerned, you can really roll in with anything you want. However, do not go in with a skill build, because if you go in with a skill build and you have hackable skills, let's say like the assault drone, the assault turret, the stinger hive, things like that, at the very end, the hunters are going to hack those, you're going to murder your squad, then no one's going to want to be your friend, and I say this in every video. So please do not make that mistake, and if you're looking for a beginner's build that you can use in Countdown, I will leave a link to one that I posted a while back, and it's something you can put together pretty quick. Now, as far as matchmaking is concerned, what you want to do is open up your map, scroll over to matchmaking, make your way down to Countdown. Then you're going to choose your difficulty, and for me, I always choose challenging because I do not see a huge difference between the quality of the loot between challenging and heroic. But again, that's just my experience. Let me know yours in the comment section down below, and I'll talk about that a little bit more at the end of the video. Which now takes us to a very quick breakdown of how Countdown works, and for the record, I will be posting a full breakdown very soon, going over builds, things like that. But in the meantime, here are a few important details that you need to know. First of all, when you load into the map, there are going to be 3 countermeasures, and that's going to be the first thing you focus on. Now, there are 8 players total. You're divided into 2 subgroups, and sometimes both groups can load in on the same side of the map. If that's the case, you're going to start with the same countermeasure. But let's say if one group's on the west, one group's on the east, each group is going to take out the countermeasure closest to them. After that, you will meet in the middle and then make your way to the first encounter. Now, as far as the encounters are concerned, one thing you'll hear from a lot of players out there is that you want to stay away from the encounter that says protect the VIP, and the reason for that is because it's very time consuming, so ideally you're able to avoid doing that one. And even if you see the entire group go towards the VIP, do not sweat it, you should be totally fine as far as time is concerned, but again, you want to make sure you get through this as quickly as you can. Now, once you've completed 2 encounters, that is going to trigger the start of the main objective, and that brings me to one important detail, and that is the following. If you are new and just returning, or let's say you're worried about not dying, things like that, do not worry about your kill count. Focus on what you actually have to do to complete the objective in the first place. You know, I see a lot of people running around the map, they're trying to kill as many NPCs as they can, but they're not standing by the computers after they activate them, or they're not moving the different, let's say fuses you need to in another one. And I gotta tell you, in all my years of playing, the only instance I've had where I've run out of time is when players are not actually paying attention to what they need to do to complete the main objective in the first place. So just pay attention to that detail, be the hero, you should be totally good to go, and then once that's done, you are then going to make your way to extraction, and that takes us back to the topic of staying together as a group. Because when you face the hunters, things can get sideways incredibly fast, so again, stay together, my friends. Last but not least, when it comes to inventory management, I recommend rolling into Countdown with at least 45 to 50 spots open in your backpack, and the reason for that is because, look, in this run, I got 51 pieces of loot in 16 and a half minutes, which is insane. And the reason I recommend doing that is because that way you do not need to worry about inventory management when you're playing. You just pick up the loot, keep on moving. Finally, I want to talk about firing the flare for extraction, and you want to wait until there are about 10 seconds left on the clock before you pop the flare. Now, be careful when you're picking up loot in certain areas, because when you pick up loot and you're holding down that prompt, that's the same prompt you use, at least on Xbox, to fire the flare. So again, just pay attention to that little detail, because you want to, again, wait to the last 10 seconds, because enemies keep coming down from the helicopter. They will continue to drop loot as well. Alright, so at this point we are done with the countdown run. We're going to jump on the helicopter, make our way to the base of ops. You will see in a moment it took the group 16 minutes and 30 seconds to clear this thing. I wound up getting 51 pieces of loot, and I also received 158 of those countdown resources, which you can use at the countdown vendor to buy different caches. However, as I said at the very beginning of the video, the entire point of this countdown run for me was to get some of that new core strength gear set. So to be very clear, my friends, any gear set or brand set in the game you're trying to farm for to put a build together, use countdown. You're going to get most of the gear you need incredibly fast. Hope this helped you out, my friends, and as always, questions, comments, or feedback, please let me know, and I'll do my best to get back to you as quick as I can. On that note, I'm going to leave you with some gameplay footage and a few final thoughts. As always, I want to take a moment and thank you all for your incredible continued support. Please let me know of any other questions you have I did not address. Thank you once again for the privilege of your time, and as I mention at the end of every one of these, take care of yourselves, be kind to each other, and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks again, everyone. Hello once again, my fellow agents. I hope you're doing well on this fine day. Alright, so I know a lot of players do not like to roll in a group. You like to do your own thing, and if you do, you can do retaliation. But again, the amount of loot you get from countdown compared to retaliation is so much more. So if you're just trying to be efficient with your time and get certain pieces, together for a build, just play countdown. I'm telling you, you're gonna like it. I should also mention, for solo players, you can also farm the summit because you can choose your targeted loot there as well. But to be clear, as I've said multiple times, countdown is definitely the way to go. Now, the reason I'm focusing on this new gear set is because you're going to be able to put a ton of builds together around it. And over the next few days, I'll be bringing you a few different videos talking about farming, there's a lot of stuff to cover with the start of the new season. But as you can see, when it comes to this gear set, the 2-piece bonus is 10% weapon handling, 3 pieces 5% weapon damage, total armor, and skill efficiency, 4 pieces core exercise. For each core on your gear pieces, you're going to receive 40% of the other 2 cores bonuses. Skill tiers count as 15% skill efficiency when these bonuses are applied. And I can tell you right now, my friends, I'm going to have a ton of builds based around this gear set, which I promise to bring you as soon as I can. Now, as I wrap this thing up, do me a favor, let me know in the comments section, what are your thoughts on Year 8 so far? Now, for me, I really like the changes they made to retaliation. I'm looking forward to going up against those Black Tusk elite kill squads. Hopefully I bump into one of those soon. And as far as escalation and prototype gear, I honestly have no desire to play that whatsoever. And again, that's just how I play the game. I'm letting you know, all I can do is tell you my thoughts. You know what I mean? So anyway, I just don't see the point in doing it for me. So anyway, my friends, I'm looking forward to finally jumping into the new classified mission later today. I will keep you posted on my thoughts on that. That is all I got for this video. I need to race out the door for work. Gotta make a living. Thank you once again for everything, my friends. Take care of yourselves, be kind to each other, and I will see you in the next one.